Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually chose a brand? Not compared prices, not read reviews, just chose. Think about your last coffee order, your phone brand, your toothpaste. You probably didn't stand there weighing every option, right? You just knew what to pick. And that feeling, that certainty, that's the illusion. Because most of the time, the choice was made long before you reached the shelf. Every day, you scroll past hundreds of ads without noticing them. A logo in the corner of a video, a brand name slipped into a podcast, a product casually held by someone you follow. You don't stop, you don't click, you don't even remember seeing them, but your brain does. It quietly logs familiarity, comfort, trust. So when the moment comes to buy, your brain doesn't ask, what's the best option? It asks, what feels safe? And that's why the brand you've seen 1,000 times suddenly feels like your choice. Here's the uncomfortable part. If a decision feels automatic, it usually isn't free. And once you start noticing that, you realize how often your preferences were planted. If advertising worked by convincing you, it would fail, because no one likes being told what to do. So instead, brands design their messages to work with your brain, not against it. They rely on shortcuts your mind already uses every day. Let's start with one you've definitely experienced. You see a product priced at $100. Right next to it, the same product now says $60. Suddenly, $60 feels like a win. That first number anchors your perception, even if the product was never meant to sell for $100 in the first place. That's called the anchoring effect. Here's another one. A label says 95% fat-free. Sounds healthy, right? But contains 5% fat is the same thing. And yet it feels worse. Nothing changed except the framing. Your brain didn't analyze the information. It reacted to how it was presented. And then there's familiarity. The brand you've seen over and over, the one that pops up in ads, shows, and social media, starts to feel trustworthy. Not because it's better, but because it's familiar. Your brain assumes, if I've seen this everywhere, it must be safe. Now add emotion. Most ads don't sell products. They sell feelings, security, confidence, belonging, status. You're not buying a watch. You're buying the idea that you're successful. You're not buying skincare. You're buying the feeling of being desirable. And the smartest part, you don't feel manipulated. You feel understood. That's the architecture of influence. Not force, not logic, just subtle nudges, perfectly aligned with how your brain already works. By now, you might be thinking, okay, but I can spot ads. I'm not that easy to fool. That's fair. So advertisers stopped relying on what you notice and started targeting what you don't, because your brain is always processing more than you're aware of. Take color. Why do fast food places use red and yellow? Because red increases urgency and appetite, and yellow grabs attention before you can ignore it. Why do banks love blue? It signals calm, trust, stability. Luxury brands, black. Minimal text, plenty of empty space. These choices aren't about aesthetics. They're about emotional shortcuts. Then there's typography. Rounded fonts feel friendly and safe. Sharp fonts feel serious and authoritative. Even sound plays a role. That soft notification ping, it's designed to feel comforting, not alarming, so you come back without thinking. And this is where things get serious. Enter neuromarketing. Brands now use brain scans, eye tracking, and facial expression analysis to see what grabs your attention before you consciously react. They don't ask, do you like this? They ask, does your brain light up when you see it? Packaging is tested, ads are tweaked, layouts are optimized. Even physical stores are engineered this way. Essentials are placed at the back so you walk past temptation. Eye-level shelves are prime real estate. Softer lighting slows you down. Music subtly controls your pace. You think you're browsing. But every step, Every glance, every pause has already been anticipated. The most powerful influence is the one you never notice. And once you see that, shopping never feels the same again. Up to now, everything we've talked about applies to everyone. But this is where advertising stops being general and starts being about you. Every time you like a post, every time you pause on a video, every search, every purchase, it all gets recorded. Not just what you click, but how long you hesitate, what time of day you're most impulsive, what mood you're likely in. You're not the customer anymore. You're the data set. That data feeds algorithms designed to do one thing: predict what you'll want before you know you want it. That ad that felt perfectly timed, the product that appeared right when you were thinking about it, that wasn't intuition. It was pattern recognition. And AI doesn't just respond to your behavior. It shapes it. Show you one type of product, you're more likely to want similar ones. Show you the same brand repeatedly, alternatives quietly disappear. Over time, your choices don't expand, they narrow. Personalization feels helpful, convenient, even flattering. But there's a trade-off. You see less contrast, less surprise, fewer reasons to question. The algorithm learns what keeps you scrolling, not what makes you think. And slowly, without noticing, your tastes, preferences, and impulses become predictable. That's the feedback loop. You feed the system feeds you back. A version of the world optimized to keep you consuming, and the more seamless it feels, the harder it is to step outside it. Here's the good news. Once you can see the system, it loses a lot of its power. Advertising works best when it's invisible, when it feels like your own idea. Awareness creates friction, and friction breaks autopilot. You don't need to delete every app or swear off buying things. You just need to slow the moment down. Next time you feel an urge to buy, pause and ask, why this product? Why now? Where did I first see it? That single question creates space, and space restores choice. Get comfortable doing one simple thing: looking beyond the ad. Compare alternatives. Read neutral reviews. Step outside the first option presented to you. Even small changes matter. Turn off one-click purchases. Delay buying by 24 hours. Avoid shopping when you're tired, bored, or emotional. These aren't restrictions, they're interruptions. And interruptions give you control. Because the goal isn't to avoid influence entirely. That's impossible. The goal is to choose deliberately instead of automatically. When you understand how your attention is guided, how your emotions are nudged, how your habits are shaped, you stop being a passive consumer and become an active decision maker. And that's the real freedom. Not having unlimited choices, but knowing which ones are actually yours.